What's going on, everyone? Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and today we're gonna talk about some rumors that have started to surface to some, I won't say serious talks, but at least it's being recognized by publications like Screen Rant, and these are coming from higher ups who could definitely be making these kind of decisions, should we say? So as you can tell, we're talking Saw today, but before we get into this, because I know we've been talking about a lot of Saw here recently, but we're going to get into that momentarily. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to let YouTube and myself know by liking it, subscribing if you haven't already, even turning on that notification bell if you want to know when I'm going live or uploading. Also, check down below. There's a couple of links I just wanted to shill out there. It is my Patreon if you want to support my work here on Bloody Breakdown, as well as my Twitter if you'd like to follow me. So anyway, enough shilling. Let's get into the story. Because just last week, I believe, maybe a week to the day, I was sharing an article where it is being said that Lionsgate and the people who were in charge of the Saw franchise are essentially already planning a 10th Saw film, codenamed Saw X. So I thought that maybe we're jumping the gun a little bit by having these type of discussions before Spiral, which is the 9th entry in the Saw franchise, has ever even hit theaters, especially in very unpredictable times for the movie theater. I thought maybe it was a little bit too much, a little too much too fast. You know what I'm saying? So let's pile the fuck on, why don't we? Because also these same executives, the people who are in charge of this franchise, are also now considering Saw on the small screen, a television series. Now, this, once again, I want to reiterate that word. They're considering it. It's the same word the article used here. It is something that they are potentially going to be working on. But let's get into the article to read a little bit more, be a little bit more specific on this. Because like I said, like if you think about this, after Saw 3D, final chapter, the franchise went quiet. I think it had been, a little too much too soon, oversaturated the franchise, releasing one every year for 7 years. And the franchise just kind of was very quiet for a while until Jigsaw happened. I don't think many people were impressed with that. I know I wasn't. I don't think it was any huge deal critically. Maybe it was financially. I don't really recall. But the franchise went dormant again, went very quiet. And now we have Spiral about to hit theaters next month. A purported already planned 10th entry in the franchise. And now we're talking about a TV show. So to me, it just seems like a lot at once. I don't know. Maybe you all have a different opinion on that. But like I said, let's jump into the article here. So Lionsgate Television chairman Kevin Beggs recently acknowledged the likely possibility of a TV adaptation of the horror film franchise Saw. Directed by James Wan, the original in 2004, blockbuster hit, earning more than $100 million worldwide and helping reestablish the earning potential of the horror genre. Its unexpected success at the box office kicked off a long-lasting franchise, spurring the release of 9 feature films over the course of a decade, including the forthcoming movie starring Chris Rock. Yeah, that's what we should be talking about. I should be coming to you all today with some Spiral news, some last minute, a month ago Spiral news. But no, it just keeps snowballing here with this franchise. I don't know. Its unexpected success at the box office. I already read that part. So despite lukewarm reviews from critics, it remains one of the highest grossed horror film franchises of all time. Pretty rare air there. And this part of the article just kind of recaps the first installment of Saw. I'm not really sure why, so I'm going to skip that and head down here. Get in a little bit more detail. According to Deadline, Beggs referred referenced the creative potential of expanding the storytelling scope of the popular Saw series. While resident about the broader details of a project, Begg said, "We're always exploring what we can do in television with something like the Saw franchise. It is a conversation." Lionsgate is reportedly exploring a television adaptation of the book of Saw from Mark Berg and Orrin Coles, co-runners of Twisted Pictures and producers of the film franchise. So we've even got essentially what that last line is, and I think we should probably read that again because it does kind of stand out to me. Lionsgate is reportedly exploring a television adaptation of the book of Saw. So I'm assuming since the italics is there, this isn't a reference to Spiral from the book of Saw. The book Saw itself, I would assume, based on that sentence, but I do kind of want to clarify and reread that. So notably, the first few chapters of Saw reaped consistent financial benefits at the box office, transforming it into a highly profitable staple of the horror. I don't know. That's French. Fuck that. I'm not reading that. I told you guys I'm awful with foreign words. I'm not going to embarrass myself. No way. I don't do that for a hobby. However, its later installments received backlash for its increasingly convoluted plots and reliance on what some critics deemed torture porn. Hey, you can all just eat a sack of wieners. I love this franchise. Yeah, convoluted. You know what? I'd say convoluted only if you don't have a very good attention span. That would be my rebuttal to that. But I am very biased towards this franchise. So overall, however, it is preserved as a cult series with a significant following. And yes, it is. And right here at the bottom, while Spiral from the Book of Saw will hit theaters in May, it remains to be seen whether or not Jigsaw will grace the small screen as well. At the same time, a television adaptation does offer greater space to explore the inner workings of the famed serial killer, including the ways in which his actions affect the rare victims who survive his twisted experiments. The horror genre preserves as a dark form of narrative that draws in viewers with its provocative examination of the human psyche. So that's interesting. At least the writer of this article seems to think Jigsaw would be involved. I don't know. I got to tell you, maybe not. I know Tobin Bell has his roots in television acting. I think he was like the main antagonist on Walker, Texas Ranger, if I'm not mistaken. So you know, I don't know though. I don't really know if they would really go that route with Tobin Bell. Maybe he would. Maybe you know what? I think he would do it. I think he really enjoys playing that character that much. Maybe after I see Spiral and see if there's any new footage. Maybe they fib to us. Maybe there's some new footage of Tobin Bell in the film. I don't know. I'm not quite sure about that. That's really what I think about whenever I see shit like this, because my mind goes, "What's it about?" I get it. You know, at first you get really excited, like, okay, a Saw TV series, like that's awesome. But it's not going to be just like the movies. It's going to be slightly different. The budget's going to be different. The actors and actresses that are going to be cast are going to be vastly different for the most part. And what you can get away with on TV comparative to what you can get away with in an R rating in a theater are vastly different as well. So those things all fly by my mind. But the thing that really sticks is, what is it about? Is this really like, are you going to take the idea of the actual Book of Saw, excuse me, that is referenced in the title of Spiral, and do something with that? I think that would be interesting, kind of like an anthology show where you get different characters every episode, maybe a few core characters, cops or whatnot, that are kind of tracking this person or persons. But I don't know. It's I guess it's way too early to start speculating right now about what any of this could actually be about. As far as we know right now, at the end of the day, essentially we know that, and I want to get his name correct here, so let me go back. Kevin Beggs, who is a Lionsgate television chairman, is saying that that isn't a Saw TV series is currently being kicked around, currently being talked about at Lionsgate. So, I mean, who better to get it from than the guy who's going to sign off on it at the end of the day, right? But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean this show's going to come to fruition. I want to, make sure everyone takes this with a grain of salt. Sure, it's coming for the chairman of Lionsgate, all right? But you still have to take this with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, things change. Maybe Spiral doesn't perform well. Maybe there's some hiccups in their process in which they have to go through a TV show. There's a number of things that can happen between now and them really getting into deep talks about this. So I don't want anyone to get too excited about this. This is purely just the higher ups at Lionsgate are actively considering a Saw television show. So no one get excited yet. There's still some things that in my estimation at least, and what the fuck do I know, have to be done before we get here. But with that said, we're here as in the end of the video. So like I said at the beginning, if you've enjoyed today's video, let YouTube know, leave a thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications. I see how many of you fuckers watch these videos and don't subscribe. It's bullshit. You should do it. Subscribe. It's the right thing to do at the end of the day, isn't it? Isn't it? And yes, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you all think about this potential Saw TV series. And check the description section. We'll see a link to my Twitter if you'd like to follow me, or my Patreon if you would like to support this channel and what it is I do here. So with that said, leave me those comments. Let me know what you all think. Are they really jumping the gun here? Are they really thinking there's going to be a huge reemergence of this franchise in a big way? Hey, it could happen. I'm not saying it couldn't, but maybe they're jumping the gun just a little bit. But yeah, leave me all your comments down below. I'd love to engage. I'm Brent from Bloody Breakdown, and we'll catch you all next time.